Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn how to create a game, basic tossing game. Okay, the heads and tails kind of a thing. This was suggested by one of my students. He had actually created in some other way, and I wanted to show everybody how to create this. We will take it forward. We will enhance whatever is done in this particular session. We will enhance it, but let us learn the basics. I have created this game right now. Okay. You can see that some of the switches, there are three switches. One is labeled as tails, one is labeled as heads, one is labeled as reset. Now you can understand what it actually what they actually mean. This means if I want to toss and I say tails and I click on tails, if this particular switch, this particular LED glows, that means I have won. If it does not glow, and I did click on tails, that means I have lost. Similarly, if I say I select heads and I click on heads, and if this particular LED glows, okay, I've won. If this does not glow, that means I have not won. Okay, let me start the simulation and I'll show you the game first and then we'll proceed. Okay, it is initializing, it has started now. So I say that I have selected tails. So I'll select tails. The light glows, that means I have won. Let me check the heads part, whether it is glowing. Heads is not glowing, so that means the program is working perfectly fine. That means when I click on tails, I have won. Okay, so that means the tails one is actually glowing. Now, how do we go about resetting this kind of a thing? This game now. I want to play it again. So if I play it again, I know the tails is this one now. This is the one which will actually glow. But how do I reset it? I have created a reset button also. So when I click on reset button, the heads and tails, the LEDs now have maybe have switched places. I say I want to play tails again. So when I click on tails, now tails is not glowing because right now the system has actually selected the second one, the heads one. So let me click on heads. Yes, heads is glowing. Now you have figured out now how things are working. Heads and tails, you decide which one you want to press. You press. If the light glows, you have won. Okay, that is the first part. And second part is the resetting part. Resetting part would actually mean you click on the reset button. Now the system will automatically reset one of these. So reset means it will reset either tails to lose or heads to lose. How did we actually create this game? You can see that I have used pin numbers 5 and 6. 5 and 6 are actually set up in the output mode, and in the output mode they are connected to the switches. This is switch 1 and this is switch 2. Okay, the switch for heads and switch for tails. So and so this means if 5 is giving out high, and if I click on the second switch, this LED will glow. And if 6 is giving out high and I click on this particular switch, then this particular LED will glow. So that means what the system is basically doing is deciding which one to make high and which one to make low. So let's do the first parts first. How do we decide? How does the system randomly decide how to select one? Okay. Okay. What has been done um, in the code part? Let us check out the code. In the code part, we have created a switch called heads and switch called tails, and both of them are numbered as 5 and 6. And the switch called reset has been numbered with pin number 8. The pin modes, these three pin modes, the switch heads and switch tails are in output mode. So that means I'm giving out a high or giving out a low to basically switch on the LED, the first one or the second one. And this reset switch is basically set as for input. Input means it is actually reading the switch. The Arduino is reading the switch. So when I click on this reset button, it actually reads the switch and figures out what is to be done. Now, next thing, I have given a command rx is equal to random2, and rx has been created outside before the setup function. What does this particular statement mean? This statement means Rx is going to get a value, a random value from 0 to this 2 minus 1. So that means this is actually going to get a value from 0 to 1. Why 0 to 1? Because I have written a 2. So that means it will generate from 0 to 2 minus 1, that is 1. Suppose I had written a 10. What random numbers would it have generated? It would have generated numbers from 0 to 9 because it is now 10 minus 1. So why did I write 2 now? Because I wanted only two values, 0 and 1. 0 to indicate tails and 1 to indicate heads. Okay, so that means which one is going to be low. Okay, so in one it is going to be heads which is going to get a low, and in the second one it is tails which is going to get a low. Getting a low actually would mean that when 5 is sending out a low and I press this particular switch, this LED will not switch on. Okay, now I am going to read the reset button. Okay, reset button pin is actually pin number 8. So I am going to check what is being sent to that reset switch, and that particular thing will actually be given to a variable called reset status. And if I have actually pressed the reset button, if I have pressed this reset button, I'll give you this whole circuit a little later. But if I press this particular switch, this is going to give a high to pin number 8. So if it is going to give a high to pin number 8, reset status is going to get a value of high. And we have just checked here, if reset status is high, Rx gets a new random value. So this is what we want. Whenever we are pressing the reset button, the randomization will change. Okay. Now, how is this randomization going to change? Is going to change with the same command that we actually gave there. Why did I give there? Is because I did not press any reset button when the system actually started. So when the system starts, Rx is supposed to get a value, right? So that value it gets from the setup function there. Because I did not press the reset button, so there it is going to get the first one. All right. And what have I done with the if statements? What I said, if Rx is 0, that means Rx is going to have possible values 0 and 1. If Rx is 0, I'm going to give a low to heads and high to tails. So that means if I what is going to happen is, if Rx is 0 and somebody clicks on switch, the heads wala switch, it is that LED is not going to light. So that means now heads is going to load. And if Rx is equal to 1, what is going to happen? Then tails is going to lose. Right? Okay, and in this particular loop, I have given the command to reset status is equal to low so that it becomes low again. So that the next time I go and check reset status, will get a new value from there. Alright, let me show you the reset button. In the reset button, I have actually given what if the switch is not pressed. If the switch is not pressed, see, if when the switch is pressed, this high will go from here to terminal 1B, so to A to 1B, and it will go to as an input to the to Arduino. But when the switch is not pressed, what is going to happen? When it is not pressed, this particular pin is going to go low. Why? Because it has been connected through a resistance to the negative, right? We had done this in one of the previous videos. You need to go back and check over there. So what what kind of a system we have adopted here? We have adopted that when I press the reset button, it gets the high from here, and that goes to pin number 8. The rest of the switches are perfectly normal. Like for example, if I say switch the number 5 pin is connected to the second switch, and the second switch is connected diagonally to this particular button, and this goes to the LED, and this LED is connected on the negative side to through the resistance to the earth, to the negative. So, and similarly, pin number 6, it is connected to the switch number 1, which is diagonally connected here to the positive of this particular LED, and this is also connected through this resistance to the negative. Alright, so the circuit is done and the coding is also done. Okay, except for this small kind of a statement here. This would actually mean create a new seed. Now, if I don't give this command, it is going to generate random numbers, but it is going to generate the same random numbers again and again. For example, if I say I am generating the random numbers, some random numbers, and the random numbers are 7, 1, 3, 5, and 2. They are seven. They are random numbers. But if I say those random numbers again, if somebody asks me to say some random numbers and I say 7, 1, 3, 5, and 2, am I not generating random numbers? I am generating random numbers, but the random numbers are the same. If somebody asks me to generate again some random numbers and I say 7, 5, 1, 3, 2, whatever I had said earlier, so if I am doing the same, so that makes this kind of a system a very the system is getting random numbers, but it is getting the same random numbers, and I don't want the same random numbers. I want it to start with a new seed. This particular statement is basically used to start off a new seed. You don't need to understand what this actually, how do we write it. We write it like this only. We say random seed in brackets analog read in bracket 0. This way, the system, when it generates a random number, it will generate a new random number, not the same random numbers which it has been generated. Okay, so let us run this program again. So when I run this, in the setup, Rx has been generated, and that Rx is being used to figure out which of these is going to be, which of these is going to lose. I don't know which one. So let me click on tails. Tails is okay, but if I click on heads, heads is not okay. I will click only on one. When we play this game, I will click only on one because but here I'm actually testing whether the other one is getting or high also or not. Let us reset again. So I click on reset and I'll check tails. Tails does not glow. Heads, heads glows. I'll click on if I click on reset if I click on tails again, does not glow. Heads glows. Tails does not glow. Heads glows. Let's click on the reset button again. Then tails does not glow. Head glows. So basically it means that the reset has actually generated the same number. That is the fun of this particular game now. So it could be two heads in the same in consecutive. Again, tails is not, heads is okay. I click on reset. Tails is not, heads is okay. I click on reset. Tails is not, heads is okay. I click on reset. Tails is not, heads is okay. Did I change that random seed thing? Alright. So maybe it is generating the same. Alright. Tails is not, Heads is okay. Random, reset. Tails is on now. Okay, so it was just a fluke that so many heads came up at the same in the same consecutive kind of a thing. All right. So I hope you have understood this game, whatever we have created right now. I have created labels for all these. Okay, so you should also be doing the same similar things if you just want to describe some things. Right? This game can be enhanced. So right now I have clicked on uh, tails. I know that I clicked on tails once and I have won. But has the system counted anything? So that counting now needs to be done automatically, and it should be displayed on an LCD. We'll do that part in a later session now. Uh, I hope you people have understood. If there is any problem, just write down any comment, and do subscribe to this channel and like this channel, like this video. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.